Okay, Monica, this is a little stressful. DCTV asked us to do this series on pickleball. We got to come up with a name. What
Well, that
do you
might be
think?
the hardest thing to do.
I
I don't know.
know.
The kitchenettes? Because there's a kitchen in
I
pickleball?
don't know. That sounds like a cooking show. I don't know. I don't know if we want to do that, do we? Something related to balls? Well, no.
No, let's do a P, like pickleball prattle, you know.
Prattle?
But prattle, you know, that means like nonsense talk about, and pickleball's too important
Yeah.
for that, so let's not do pickleball prattle.
Yeah, then that sounds like we're rambling.
Yeah.
We do something like that.
Yeah.
Let's see. Plugging pickleball.
Well, that's what we're
Plugging?
doing.
Yeah, we're plugging it. Yeah, it sounds like we're plugging a drain or something.
Yeah, like the
Plug it.
dam. Put our finger in the hole.
Put
No.
our finger in the hole. Okay.
I really like In the Kitchen with Chris and Monica.
I like that.
Of course, we don't cook. I hope they know it's not a cooking show.
You cook. You cook way
I do
more than
cook.
I do.
I-
You do cook. But
if
we
you
don't
wa-
want them to tune in because it's a cooking show. We want to talk about pickleball.
Yeah, and we probably shouldn't confuse them. They might not even tune in.
Right, if they think it's a cooking show.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, you mentioned Dinking Divas.
Yes.
Dinking Divas.
You don't think that's hoity-toity? Like,
I don't know.
We're
Well, divas means self-important.
which we're not, but
We're not at all.
but it sounds cool. Dinking, you know,
Dinking,
is
yep.
a very common pickleball term to go.
Yep.
Ball
when you're
goes
playing
right
in
over the
kitchen,
net.
In the kitchen.
If you
just
have a good dinking game, you can win.
short shots. Yes.
Yeah, we don't want to be the proud picklers, do we? Sounds like
I
we
don't-
might have had, you know, too
Nope.
much. We don't want to be pickled.
Nope, I don't think so. Pickleball wrap. Pickleball wrap. That doesn't have a ring to
You
it.
want to be a paddle tapper?
A paddle tapper?
That's
Maybe
what we
a
do.
paddle tapper. Tap on the paddles? I don't know.
I
don't
think,
love
I
that.
think we like Dinking Divas.
Yep, my favorites are In the Kitchen with Chris and Monica and Dinking Divas.
Those are mine too.
So,
Dinking Divas quick. Let's do that one.
Dinking
Let's-
Divas
It's it.
There we
our
go.
inaugural show.
is Dinking Divas.
Dinking Divas, woo!
All right, we got that. All right. Welcome to the inaugural series of the Dinking Divas. I'm Chris Yoder, and this is
Monica Canoe.
Monica Canoe, and we are so excited to talk to you today about pickleball, our favorite sport. We love to play, we love to hang out with friends, and we love to dress alike, but only for pickleball do we do that. So we love to spend time with our friends, our family, and anyone on the court teaching people and just creating new opportunities. I started playing in 2017, bought my first wooden paddle in 2018, was introduced to pickleball by my brother and sister-in-law in Florida, and have been playing ever since. We got the canoes hooked in 2018, spent a lot of time playing during COVID, and here we are today.
Quick disclaimer: we are not experts. All right. So if you're tuning in thinking we know it all about pickleball, you're wrong. But we're going to take this journey with you, teach you the things that we have learned, things that have worked for us, things that we don't do anymore because it's not a good practice, and we're going to go from there. But yes, as Chris said, she wrote my husband and I into playing with her and her husband. We have always been sports-minded. We played racquetball before then, played a little tennis, and so it was a great segue into pickleball, and we got hooked quickly. The problems we found is, well, we played a lot at Laddie's Grove. Now, if you don't know where Laddie's Grove is, it's now called Veterans Memorial Park. There's a train track that runs through there. There's an acorn tree that's there. It's not the best situation. It's one tennis court that has been lined. So we played there because we didn't have any choice, but obviously it got us thinking about we need to find new places.
New possibilities.
We also played in the Y, then come winter. We had made some arrangements. They had put one court in the old gym, and then they ended up adding additional courts in the new gym. But we are so committed to pickleball that we would play in 40-degree weather. So you'll find us out there with scarves, winter coats, hats, a lot of cracking balls.
Yep.
But that's how much we love the sport.
Yep, we love it.
Yeah.
So pickleball started. How did it get a start? In Bainbridge by Seattle, Bainbridge Island in 1965. 3 dads wanted to create some summertime fun for their kids. So started a game named after one of their dogs named Pickle. And now pickleball is available and people are playing in 50 states. It's a combination of badminton, ping pong, and tennis. And it's the fastest growing sport in America.
In fact, I have a graphic I found that in the last 2 years, pickleball has grown almost 40%. That is 4.8 million people playing pickleball. So at this point, if you haven't heard about pickleball, I'm not sure where you've been because it's all over the TV, it's popping up all over courts. Florida is actually the pickleball capital. So a lot of what do we call them? They go to Florida in the winter.
Oh, our snowbirds.
Our snowbirds.
Our snowbirds.
They go to Florida to find only so they can play pickleball morning and evening. So pickleball is definitely the best sport, in our opinion.
Yes.
Yep. To play.
New and up and coming sport. So how did we get started at Kingsbury? Oh, we want to talk about Brian.
Yes.
Brian and Finley. We had been to both of those courts, and they were absolutely beautiful. We went over to Brian, checked out their courts. Monica's husband, Bashar, is a civil engineer. Yeah, I'll let you talk about that.
So we went to Brian, we played there. They have 6 lovely courts. And we're like looking at ourselves like, wait a minute.
Why don't we have this?
Yeah, Defiance is way bigger. Why are we playing on a single court by a train track with acorns?
Yes.
And they have this beautiful court.
Yes.
Well, they had gotten some funding, apparently, from the city.
Yep.
We also went to play in Finley because we were invited to go there to play. And they had beautiful courts that AARP, so we're like, okay, we can do this.
What's our next
Yes.
step in Defiance?
And if you know Chris at all, you know that if she has her mind on something, it's going to happen. So, yeah, it's
Thank
true.
you.
It's true. It's true. So we're like, okay, Chris, make some calls.
Make it happen. So we worked together to, we talked with the mayor and asked him, pickleball is the fastest growing sport in America. And periodically he would send me emails from his place in Florida. And he would share with me and share with us things that were going on in Florida. And we know, we love pickleball. We know,
Yes.
we know it's the fastest
You don't
growing
have to
sport in
convince
America.
us.
Yeah. So we said, how can we get courts? How do we make this happen in Defiance? How do we create opportunities for our community to get involved in pickleball, and where can we play? And he said Kingsbury. We could resurface the tennis courts at Kingsbury and create that opportunity here. So we said, what do we need to do to help?
Yep.
And he said, so we looked at the Bryan courts, contacted their parks director, got estimates of probably $100,000 is what it was going to cost.
Bashar
Yes.
actually went there and measured the Bryan courts, came and measured the Kingsbury courts, and within just a few inches, that was the same area size. So we knew that those Kingsbury courts would accommodate 6 courts.
Yes.
So we were excited about that.
Yes.
And also when we looked around and we're like, this is a beautiful location. The courts weren't. They were in disarray, weeds growing up. But you look out and we have the rivers.
Yes.
And, it was kind of tucked back in there, not a lot of traffic. So we actually became very excited because we had looked, obviously, we're like, well, what can we suggest to the mayor?
Yeah.
Can we look at Bronson? Can we look at
The YMCA.
The YMCA.
Was an option for outdoor courts.
But then when he suggested Kingsbury.
And we drove out and looked at those old tennis courts, and yeah, they were a mess, very cracked, not usable, but it was the perfect location. We were really excited about it.
Well, the one good thing that those courts had was a fence.
Yes.
So that cut down on our costs because the city itself came in and power washed them and whatever you do, to take the paint off and just repainted them. So that was one expense, a huge expense that we did not have to incur because they were already existing.
Yes, yes. So 100,000 was the estimate. We said, how can we help facilitate this and make it happen? And he said, help us raise the money, and we did. So the Yoders, my husband Randy, Monica's husband Bashar, the 4 of us worked actively together, raised money from the Defiance Moose Lodge, Defiance Area Foundation, the Justin Kressel Fund, Defiance County Commissioners, ProMedica, Defiance Regional Hospital, Mike and Lori McCann, the Canoes and the Yoders helped, and we raised $74,000.
I don't know if the mayor realized when you say just raise the money, we're on it. It took us 3 months.
Yeah.
3 months, we had the money, and we were looking through with the city for contractors.
Yes, yes. So we were super excited about that, and it started happening very quickly. The city was excited about it. We started, sharing our journey with other pickleball players, and everyone got really excited. And we said, when's it going to be done, and how can we keep the ball rolling? And so the pickleball courts officially opened in September of 2021, and we were so excited to begin play that fall, and played for months that first year.
Yeah,
So.
and we've been really blessed with the support of fellow pickleball players. As we started this journey, it was originally just the 4 of us. Well, then Matt and Cindy Killian jumped on board. Then we met Todd and Dustin Howe. And so really became the 8 of us saying, okay, what else can we do? So once the courts were in, quickly we realized, well, we need windscreens.
Yes.
So then all of a sudden our journey became, not that we need courts, how can we enhance these courts?
Yes.
To make it a more playable, enjoyable experience.
And you get a lot of wind down there by the river, and I think that was something we really hadn't anticipated. And so, yeah, the windscreens became a pretty high priority as well. So.
And unfortunately, windscreens are expensive.
Yes. Yes.
So we passed the hat.
Yeah.
Like, we need windscreens. Everybody, if every couple chips in 100, let's do it.
Yep.
And they did.
Got donation. We have new benches that were just installed last week at the pickleball courts, and they're absolutely beautiful. And thank you to Rob Sarragan at the Parks Department and the folks at the city who helped facilitate that. We're waiting on a signboard that we will put to display like scheduled play times, open play, pickleball etiquette, tournaments, anything that's upcoming. So we're excited about that.
And we have 2 special people in our group who are handy. It's always good to have people who are good at making things. And we hadn't had the courts open maybe a week or so, and Julia Dura, they play with us, Jean and Julia, she contacted me and said, would you be interested in having paddle holders? This is something they use in Florida. So I'm like, I don't know what's paddle holder, but they hold the paddles and sometimes help coordinate the play. And I'm like, yes, I would love those. So her husband and she made us 2 sets of paddle boards. So then, of course, oh, I know you're handy, right? I'm going to use that. So I'm like, I need a dink board. Hey, Jean, Julia, I sent them a picture of a dink board that I saw. I'm like, I really would like to have this. Would you do this for me? And they made that too. So they made 2 paddle board holders and what the Dura Dink board.
Dink board.
It's a board that you can practice your serve, practice dinking, just get warmed up if you're waiting for players. Yep. So I am not afraid to take advantage of everybody in our group and use
their
them.
skill set.
And use their skill set to our advantage.
Well, and speaking of skill set, recently, within the last few weeks, we got a new logo. Yep. And we had someone from our group that volunteered, Scott Herod, to do a logo for us and came up with multiple design options, and we sent it out to the group. We have several groups on WhatsApp. We have a group of about 60, I'd say more advanced beginner, intermediate, and then we have another group of 40 that are more beginner and advanced beginner groups. So we sent that out, asked them their opinion, sought everyone's feedback, and we have a new beautiful logo that you'll see at some point. Everybody was excited about apparel. So we went to Custom Tees, who designed a catalog for us and gave us probably 20 different options of shorts, pullovers, hoodies, hats, tanks, anything you want for pickleball. So far, we'll keep adding to that catalog, but we're excited about that. We'll be able to wear some Defiance pickleball apparel as we're out there sporting on the court.
Yeah, and it's going to stay open. That's the nice thing about this store, is that it's because we continue to add more and more people. So I hate to think, well, we placed our order. No, anytime you want to go in, you can get, Christmas is coming. If they want things for that time, they can do that. And Cornelius Hester has been very accommodating to all our, we want a bucket hat. We want a, we want sweatpants. We want, and he's been very kind.
Yeah. We have a couple in our group that had a new baby, and we got the little guy a future pickleball.
Yeah, future pickleball player champion, I think.
Yes.
Onesie, for him.
So on the catalog, we also have like child size items too. So youth, toddler, so all ages.
And back to our growth.
Yes.
You talked about our growth, and we have numerous groups. We also just had beginner, what I called beginner classes. Never picked up a pickleball paddle, never played before. We had almost 30 people go through that class. And now we're seeing them on the courts. You know, some of them are coming and playing during our open play times, but some of them are coming when we're not there.
Yes.
Because they don't want quite big.
They want to practice.
Yeah, they want to practice.
Yes.
Thank you.
Yes, you're welcome. So yeah, the growth has been amazing, and Monica's had folks reach out to her that have offered to work with them, work with the beginners, and just continue growing. And it's nice to have that group that some people want to teach, some people want to play. We like to do a little bit of each of that.
We do.
So.
We like to give back. I mean,
Yes.
we like to play, and we like to win.
That's our real love.
We're competitive. It's true.
Yes,
That's
it
why
is
we.
true.
That's why we stick with the intermediate. What we found out after playing for a couple months were the bangers, right?
Yes, we're the
We didn't
bangers.
know that. They're like, oh, you're the bangers. We're like, the what?
Yeah. Yes.
We hit the ball hard. But I also like to play Tuesday, Thursday mornings. I'm a teacher, so I only have the summers to play in the mornings. But I feel like I can give back at that point. You know, I can work with some people, suggest some things to help them along, and so then in the evenings when we play,
Yes.
we can have good hard games as well.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's a nice combination.
Yeah, it is.
Plans for the future?
Yep.
So some of the future opportunities that we see on the court are offering more lessons and shootouts. So the different lessons, we've had more interest in beginner lessons. So we talked about doing that on a somewhat as needed or regular basis, depending upon interest. But we had a lot of interest in the last lessons that we did. We did find that people want to just do some fun activities.
Yeah.
So we held some shootouts. We held a shootout and we held a tournament. But we didn't have as much interest in the tournament. And as we asked many of our players that didn't join why, they said, we just want to have fun. So we have some ideas for some fun things we can do that are not as competitive, or some blind draws, so you're not going to have a stacked team. And you look at who's
Right.
playing and you're like, there's no way I can beat them. So I'm
Right.
not even going to, I'm not going to try. So, but this will be an opportunity for folks that want to do recreational play and have fun. So that's on the horizon.
Yep. And back to the lessons, one of the benefits about the lessons too is it does bring some more funding, because
Yes.
we want to continue to improve our courts. I think streaming webcam is our next big purchase, hopefully. We're trying to convince the Parks Department, because in Florida and other places around, they have them all the time. So you can, from your home on your phone, you can look and see, oh, there's 6 people playing, I'm going to go down.
Yeah.
Or, oh, the courts are wet,
Yes.
we're not going to go.
Yes.
So all the money that we've raised from tournaments, shootouts, lessons, everything's going right back into Defiance Pickleball, which basically is a gift to the city.
Yes. Yes.
Speaking of gifts to the city,
The $1,000.
Yeah.
We also donated $1,000 back to the DDVB, the Downtown Development and Visitors Bureau, for fireworks, for the fireworks fund. So we had collected some funding from our group and over the last several years, and so we wanted to give back. So in May, June of this year, before the fireworks, we were able to donate $1,000 to support the fireworks fund. So that's our goal as we continue to grow, is to support the city of Defiance and give back to the courts, but also give back to the city. They've been really good to us, and we are so appreciative and thankful for the courts that we have and how well they're cared for. And when we're ready to play in the spring, if the nets aren't up, we call the parks director and ask him to put up the nets, or put up a couple nets, and within usually the next day we're playing. So they've been really good to us, and we're very grateful for the support that they've given us.
and we volunteered to take care of that part.
Yes.
The pickleball courts. So in the spring, when they have Clean Up Your Parks Day, our group's going to come out and just take care of that section of Kingsbury ourselves. So again, we're protective of it.
Take ownership of
Take
it.
ownership, make sure things are going well.
Yes.
Things like that. And did
absolutely.
you mention the lights?
Oh, lights this fall. That's another thing that we're looking forward to. We've been told by the city that it's in the budget to have lights for fall pickleball. So when it starts getting dark earlier, typically the folks that play Monday, Wednesday, Friday evenings have to scramble out by, try to be out there by 4:30, 5 o'clock, and it gets even earlier in the fall. but we've been told that there will be lights on the pickleball court that will be on a timer and, come on. We'll be able to utilize that into the fall, and as long as the weather's decent, we'll probably be playing into November. We've played in December before, so.
We have.
So we plan on being out there as long as we are able to see the ball.
And frankly, it's such a good sport. Again, I just have to say that.
Yes.
And I've had so much feedback from people saying, all I'm doing now is playing pickleball, and I'm losing all this weight. I am in better shape. I am,
Just feel healthier,
just feel
overall healthier.
You don't realize the impact it's having. And our group in particular, I have to say too, is it's such a great social experience. They're very friendly. Everybody across the board, no matter what
Every
open
single
play you
person.
come, yes, it's just a good time.
Yes, and they support each other. We care about each other. We take an interest in each other's lives. So I can't say enough about our group and how wonderful they are to be around.
This is the point of the show where we give you our tip of the month. So this month's tip is chest high, let it fly. What that means is you have to remember the pickleball courts are small, much smaller than a tennis court. So if that ball is coming at you and it's about chest level, easiest way to get a point, let it fly behind you. It's going to go out and you got yourself a score.
Absolutely, and I don't know how many times I'm guilty of that you're not thinking quick enough to stop it, to stop yourself from hitting it or getting in the way, and you just need to move out of the way and let it go. So
Yes,
very good tip.
Yeah.
Very good tip. So like us on Facebook. Our Facebook page is Defiance Pickleball Club. And also you can contact us by email. Mine is Christine, CHRASTINE, yoder@gmail.com.
And mine is M. Canoe. I better spell that for you. MKANOUH@roadrunner.com.
All right.
Looking forward to seeing you next month.
Thank you. And stay tuned for our next episode where we'll talk about Pickleball 101, rackets, balls, paddles, just some introductory skills, and just how you get started.
Yep. Thank you.
Thank you.